diys-by-dar, and it is time for the Vintage Revival Challenge, which is hosted by Krystal from the Krafty Kreech and Furniture Flips and Andy from Flip Pop. Make sure you check out the playlist. I'll put it in my description. This is a vintage door from a cabinet from the 80s. And we are supposed to restore a piece of vintage furniture, focusing on preserving its original charm while updating it for a modern aesthetic. Now, I have two of these doors, and I thought, what am I going to do with them? They're really nice. They're oak. They have the leaded glass, and I just needed to make a panel out of it to hang on the wall or send the hardware with the piece so someone can use it as a door. So I'm taking off the hardware and putting that in a bag so I can reuse what I need to put it back together and pass on the rest. These glass panels are really beautiful, but I'm putting decoupage paper over them anyway. So I'm going to get these out of the way. And the next is to sand this frame. I am starting with some 120 and I am going to 220. And the finish came off relatively easy. I took this back down to that natural wood. I don't really like that oaky orange color. So what? Do I see water? What are you doing? Well, I'm rinsing this all off. And then the next thing that I am going to try on this wood is some oxalic acid. It is a 3-to-1 ratio, I believe. You mix it up with water, you brush it on. It was hot that day, 80. I was able to put 3 different tries on it, but I can't honestly say that it really lightened up that much. So it might be a paint wash. But we will continue and get the glass panel washed and ready for that decoupage paper. Here is my paper. It is made by Marley paper. I am a brand ambassador for Made by Marley, and you can find them on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube. They have stockists in the US, but if you can't find any, go to their website out of England, www.madebymarley.co.uk. Lell's paper comes in 3 sheets, and it's heavier paper, a little bit heavier, I think, than even a newspaper. And they have beautiful patterns and designs. And I was going to make some templates. I thought that would be the way to go. And no, I just threw the templates away. I don't know why I took all the time to do that, because there is a easier way to do this and keep this lined up. Take your paper, and it's easy to line those sections up in the middle and what's above it, because you're pretty much working off the straight edge. But whatever is around the outside of that is where you are going to need to cut. So I just used my thumb or my fingernail from my finger, and I went tight in that crease where the edge of that wood meets that window, and just make a little line with your fingers. When you turn that piece of paper over, you will see nice markings right where you need to cut, and they are exact. So don't make templates. They're fitting in nicely. I'm going to get the rest cut and get them all in place on the panel. And there we have it. The design looks great. I really like it. So let's get it on there with the Mod Podge glue. When you use Mod Podge, I can never say that, you want a nice, soft brush, one that you can smooth that paste on. No brush marks, no lumps, nice and smooth over every area where you want that paper to stick. Now, if you start right in the corners on one side and line those up, since I cut so exact, it should fall exactly where it needs to, which it did. And just gently smooth that down. It's kind of a small piece, so really not a lot of problems with wrinkles. I used a sponge to make sure it was all adhered all the way around and around those edges. Now I went ahead and I put a top coat of the Mod Podge, there I go, just to protect this paper. If there's anything else I need to do with this, I need to protect my paper. So the paper is going to get protected. And here is a bigger piece. I will put this one in place for you. You start at one end where you know your corners are good, and if you line them up, I kind of go slow and I let that very end just stick down a little bit first so it doesn't move when I'm trying to adhere the rest of the paper. And then I gently use my fingers and run across to remove any creases, wrinkles, bubbles. And you could use a sponge for this. You can use a cloth for this. And then I went ahead and finished with that top coat of Mod Podge. Well, the bottom of the door is done. I got to get the top of the door and we'll be good. Now look at that color. This had moons. And because the paper is called Moonstruck, I took a Posca pen and outlined some of the really cool designs on that moon in the gold to bring them out a bit more, because I decided to put some gold accents on the wood. I am leaving the wood the way it is because it looks really good with the paper. And I think some of the natural wood colors are actually coming back into style again. Now here is this little glass diamond, and I am going to use some liquid leaf, and I really like this, guys. You should try it. One coat is good coverage, 2 coats, you got it. It almost reminds me of mercury. If you've ever seen mercury in its raw form. Probably not, but I'm old enough to remember that kind of stuff from science class and nursing school. I put 2 coats of this on and it just looks beautiful. It looks gold. So I'm pretty happy with how that came out. I'm going to put this back together. It is getting sprayed with 3 coats of shellac just on the wood, not on the decoupage paper. I have some redesigned by Prima gold transfers. So now look at where Dar puts this. Where's the middle? What? Yeah. Well, you know, sometimes things just happen. So I went ahead and got this piece on, and I'm like, okay, what am I going to do here? Now on the right where that ruler's at, I have the hole from where the knob was. You can see it right there. I thought, okay, what if I put some gold bling bling there, cover that hole up, and then work it in a little bit towards that other gold design, and maybe that will balance it out, because that is the best option I have, because I did not want to sand that off. So I'm just scraping with my fingernail. These are redesigned by Primas, and this is a, I think this is not around anymore. This is an old one, but they have a lot of gold ones on there. I'm going to go ahead and put a couple up at the top, and I did spray these real light with the shellac just to keep them in place. And when I get these pulled off, I'm going to put a heavy wire on the back, like for heavy paintings, so you can hang this up on the wall. And I'm pleased with it. There it was, remember? Look at it now. I want to take this time to thank Krystal from the Krafty Kreech and Andy from Flip Pop for hosting this. Check out the playlist in my description and check everybody's pieces out. It should be a good time. Now, if you could, like and subscribe. That really helps my confidence. So, until the next one,